Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Bio Universe. I am Suyanka. In this video, we will explore the fascinating world of tissues. We will dive into their types, functions, and how they contribute to the overall organization and development of organisms. Tissue is a group of cells having a common origin, similar or related structure which work together to perform a common function. Study of tissues is called histology. Importance of tissues. Formation of tissues has brought about division of labor in multicellular organisms. Tissues become organized to form organs and organs into organ systems. This higher organization has further increased efficiency of multicellular organisms. Workload of individual cells has decreased due to study of tissues. Are plants and animals made of same type of tissues? Both plants and animals have similar life processes. However, they do not have similar type of tissues because of the differences in their organization, mode of living and lifestyles. Let's discuss first plant tissues. Plant tissues are of two types, meristematic and permanent. Permanent plant tissues have two subtypes, simple and complex. Meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue is a plant tissue of a thin-walled, compactly arranged immature cells that have the potential to divide and form new cells. This tissue is also known as meristem. Its cells are called meristematic cells. The region where meristem is present can function as growth region. Characteristics of meristematic cells. The cells are small, spherical and polygonal in outline. Cell wall is thin and elastic. Intercellular spaces are absent. The cells are compactly arranged. Nucleus is large. Cytoplasm is dense. Vacuoles are absent or very small. Respiration is rapid. There is high synthetic activity. Food supply is high but food is not stored. Meristematic cells grow and divide repeatedly. Functions of meristematic tissue. Meristematic tissue takes part in growth by formation of new cells. Plants continue to produce new leaves, stem, branches, flowers, fruits, root hairs and root branches. They are formed by meristematic cells. The place of injury is held up by the formation of new cells. The shoots locked or bent by wind are made to grow upright by activity of intracellular meristem. On the basis of position in the plant body, meristems or meristematic tissue are of three types: apical, intercalary and lateral. Apical meristems. It occurs at the growing tips of the stems and roots. Depending upon its occurrence at root or stem tip, it is called root apical meristem or stem apical meristem. Apical meristem produces growth in length of root and stem. Intercalary meristem. It occurs in intermediate position at the base of leaves, base of the internodes or below the nodes. It helps in growth of leaves and internodes. Lateral meristem. It occurs on the sides both in stem and root. Lateral meristem is of two types, vascular cambium and cork cambium. Vascular cambium produces secondary vascular tissue, secondary phloem and secondary xylem. Cork cambium produces a protective cork on the outside. Lateral meristem increases girth of stem and root. Permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are plant tissues where the cells have lost the ability to divide and have assumed the permanent shape, size and function. They are derived from meristematic cells. The process of taking up a definite shape, size, structure and function is called differentiation. Characteristics of permanent tissue. The cells have attained a definite shape and size which do not alter afterwards. Permanent cells come to have specific functions. Cell wall can be thin or thick. The thickening may be regular or irregular. Permanent cells normally do not divide. They may be living or dead. Permanent tissue are of two types, simple and complex. Simple permanent tissues are those permanent tissues in which the permanent cells are similar in structure, origin, and function. It is of three types, parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma. It is thin-walled, unspecialized, isodimetric living cells which forms the basic packing tissue of plant body, lying in between specialized tissue. It is the most abundant tissue of plants. It is found in all non-woody parts of plant like stem, root, leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. The cells are oval, spherical, or polygonal in outline. Thin cell wall is made of cellulose. There are large intercellular spaces occurring in between cells. Functions of parenchyma. Parenchyma cells store food and water. The cells of the tissue remain turgid and provide rigidity or support to softer parts. Presence of intercellular spaces between parenchyma cells allow movement of gases and gaseous exchange. Certain parenchyma cells store waste products like tannins, resins, gums, crystals, etc. Parenchyma present in xylem and phloem takes part in slow lateral movement of materials. Parenchyma containing chloroplast is called Sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is the seat of photosynthesis or manufacture of organic food. Parenchyma is modified parenchyma found in hydrophytes or aquatic plants which have air cavities to store gaseous and provide buoyancy to aquatic plants. Epidermis is a specialized parenchyma present on the surface of plant organs. Collenchyma. It is a permanent tissue of living cells which provide flexibility to soft aerial parts that can bend without breaking. The cells possess uneven thickening of pectocellulose, generally at corners. Intercellular spaces are little. The cells are elongated but appear oval, circular, or angular in transverse section. Collenchyma occurs below the epidermis in leaf stalks, leaf midribs, and herbaceous dicot stems. It is absent in monocots. Functions of collenchyma. It is a living mechanical tissue which provides both mechanical strength as well as flexibility. Collenchyma allows growth and elongation of organs. Being living tissue, collenchyma stores food. Collenchyma cells may contain chloroplast and take part in photosynthesis. Sclerenchyma. It is a simple permanent tissue of dead, highly thick-walled cells with little lumen. The thickening is generally made of lignin, which functions as cement and hardens the cells. The walls contain certain unthickened areas called pits. Sclerenchyma is of two types, fiber and sclerids. Fibers are made of spindle-shaped long and narrow cells that reach a length of 1 to 550 mm. They generally occur in sheaths or bundles. Sclerids are short and broad, thick-walled sclerenchyma cells which occur singly or in small groups. Sclerenchyma occurs in the stem as hypodermis in monocot stems, around vascular bundle, inside xylem and phloem, hard covering of seeds and nuts, husk of coconut, grit of apple, pear, and guava. Functions of sclerenchyma. Sclerenchyma is the chief mechanical tissue of plants which provides them strength and enables them to bear various stresses. It forms a protective covering around seeds and nuts. Sclerenchyma fibers of some plants are commercially exploited. Example: flax, hemp, jute, and coconut. Protective tissue. It is an outer layer of cells that cover the plant parts providing protection against adverse environmental factors and pathogens. Besides performing specialized functions, protective tissue is of two types, epidermis and cork. Epidermis, it is the outermost protective layer of plant organs. It is single layered with the exception of some xerophytic plants. Intercellular spaces do not occur between them. In aerial parts, the outer thick walls are also covered by a layer of water impermeable fatty substances called cutin. Cutin and wax also form a separate null cellular coating called cuticle. At the places of the aerial parts bear minute pores called stomata. Each stoma or stomata are enclosed by a pair of specialized epidermal cells called guard cells. In many plants, the aerial surfaces also bear cutinized hair over their epidermis. They are called trichomes. In roots, the younger parts are covered by an uncutinized layer of epidermis called epiblema. Some of the epiblema cells give rise to tubular outgrowths called root hairs. Functions of epidermis. Epidermis is the outer protective layer of the plant that prevents entry of pathogens and pests. By presence of cuticle, it checks the rate of water loss. Occurrence of epidermal hair produces an insulting stationary layer of air. They regulate exchange of gases by stomata. Epiblema of the root, along with its root hairs, takes part in absorption of water and minerals. Cork. It is the outer protective tissue of older stems and roots. It is formed by a secondary lateral meristem called cork cambium. They are arranged compactly in several layers. Intercellular spaces are absent. Their walls become impermeable due to deposition of suburine. At places, cork possesses small aerating pores called lenticles. Functions of cork. Multilayered impervious cork prevents a loss of water by evaporation. Cork protects the interior of plants from entry of harmful microorganisms. Cork provides protection against mechanical injury, extremes of temperature, fire, and browsing animals. Complex permanent tissues. They are those permanent tissues which are made of more than one type of cells which work together to perform a particular function. They are of two types, xylem and phloem. Xylem, it is complex permanent plant tissue which takes part in conduction of water and mineral inside the plant. They are also known as wood. They consist of four types of tissues, tracheids, vessels, xylem fibers, and xylem parenchyma. Tracheids are long tubular dead cells with lignified walls and tapering ends. Tracheids possesses various types of thickness. For mechanical strength, the unthickened areas help in the movement of water from one tracheid to another tracheid. Vessels are very long tubes which are formed by end-to-end union of large number of dead empty cells where the transverse wall breaks down completely. Vessels are more efficient than tracheids. They occur in flowering plants. Xylem fiber. They are Sclerenchyma fiber found in xylem. They have thick pitted walls, narrow lumen, and tapering ends. They provide only mechanical strength. Xylem parenchyma consists of living cells present inside the xylem. Cells of xylem parenchyma store food. They also help in slow lateral conduction. Functions of xylem. Xylem conducts water and minerals from roots to the top of the plants. Xylem provides mechanical strength to the plant. Wood is mostly made up of xylem. Phloem. It is a complex permanent plant tissue which takes part in conduction of organic food inside the plant. It is also known as bast. It is made up of four types of elements: seed tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma, and phloem fibers. Sieve tubes are elongated tubular living conducting channels of phloem. A sieve tube is formed of a large number of thin-walled sieve tube cells. The transverse end walls between adjacent sieve tube cells are perforated, which are known as sieve plates. Companion cells are thin-walled cells which lie on the sides of sieve tube cells. Companion cells are connected to sieve tube cells through compound plasmodesmata. They maintain a proper pressure gradient in sieve tube plants for conduction of food. Phloem parenchyma is present in phloem. Cells of phloem parenchyma are thin-walled and living. They have two functions: storage and slow lateral conduction of food. Phloem fibers are only non-living component of phloem. Phloem fibers are thick-walled, elongated, spindle-shaped dead cells which possess narrow lumen. They provide mechanical strength to the tissue. Functions of phloem. Phloem conducts organic food throughout the plant. Phloem fibers of some plants are source of commercial fibers like jute, hemp, and flax.